Against America's opioid crisis, federal health officials are doing a total 180. New guidelines are now urging doctors to taper patients off prescription drugs slowly, warning an abrupt cutoff could be harmful. Let's bring in Derek Maltese, former special agent in charge at the Drug Enforcement Administration. Derek, this is something that had been frustrating for people who were worried about patients who had pain, that were needing these medications, that they all of a sudden were finding themselves in a position of not being able to get the medicine they need, and they would seek it out in places that were not as good or legal.
Right, Dana, we have a very complex public health crisis, and unfortunately, President Trump inherited a dysfunctional mess, especially in regards to education. And so these poor people have been addicted to these pills. I mean, look at the Washington Post story. 76 billion pills, opioid pills, were dumped into America 2006, 2012. People were dying all over America. People were getting addicted. And so naturally, legitimate pain patients need their pills. However, you have to also use some common sense. If a kid goes in for a root canal, you don't give them 100 oxy pills, right?
Right.
So you have to have a balance, and you also have to taper these patients off. You can't just shut them down. You know, they'll have anxiety, they go into suicidal depression and all this stuff. So yeah,
this
you have
seems
to
like
have
a very common sense solution, and it's kind of curious that the government would take this long to get to this decision.
Hey, Dana, there is no common sense in the Beltway. It's the land of the make-believe. I mean, there's so many people that are running around, they're self-serving, and they're not really looking out for the safety of Americans. What really should be the focus is the Mexican cartels and the organized crime from China, and all the meth and heroin and fentanyl and all the drugs that are coming into America, killing the citizens of this great country. And you look at the, last year there was 32,000 alone that died from the synthetic fentanyl, the synthetic opioids.
Right.
And we act like there's a victory here. We have to keep the focus on what the problem is right now, and that's the southwest border and the pills that are coming over with the fentanyl coming in from China as well.
Let me get your take on this other story that developed late last week. So Sesame Street is going to have a character named Carly, and her mother, in fictional, has an opioid addiction. This caused a little controversy with people asking, for example, Carol Markowitz wrote this in the New York Post. She said, "All a small child will hear is that a character's mother is gone. That's pushing fear on kids without the necessary context. Will my mother have to go too? Will I be left with people I don't know?" We keep hanging these serious issues on ever younger kids, and it's causing them lasting damage. But you like this idea. Tell us why.
Well, let me tell you right now. You see what I say right now to Sesame Street? Thank you for taking the leadership to educate the kids at a very young age, because their brains are like sponges, right? So they need to learn the dangers of these substances, and they need to understand the crisis, because it's not going to go away. It's just going to continue, because the cartels are a multi-billion-dollar enterprise that's looking to make money and take advantage of our citizens that are not educated. So I'm a huge advocate about promoting and educating everyone in society, and you have to start young, because the kids have brains that need to be learning the correct messages when they're young. You can't wait till they're in high school or college. They're already addicted, and now we have a crisis, and we have to get them into treatment. So I love the idea. I thought it was fascinating, and I also like the concept how they describe the secret weapon. The Muppets are the secret weapon, because the government's not doing their job. They've been neglecting the drug education issues for years. President Trump is starting to really pump up the programs now, but we need some public service announcements. We need to educate not just the kids, but the teachers, the parents, the corporations. Right? The parents have to know what's going on, because these kids are taking counterfeit drugs now, Dana. Look at the Mexican oxy all over America. One of the things I try to tell people, because it really sets the tone, in 2015, there were no pills seized in Phoenix, Arizona of this Mexican oxy stuff. Last year, there was 380,000. This year, in July, August, there was 1.1 million pills. So the pills are escalating, the deaths of fentanyl are escalating. So the government has to be, there's got to be more sense of urgency. So thank God the media is engaging and sending the public messages, because if we wait for the government, it's going to be too late.
Right. Derek Maltese, it's always good to have you and be educated that way. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dana.